Today, we continue our conversation that we started last week, which has to do with building wealth on a 9 to 5. If you missed that edition, I would like to encourage you to please find time to go listen to it. We will be dropping the link to that edition in the group chat while this program is going on. It's on our YouTube channel. And on that channel, we have, I think, well over 200 different videos, short videos on different things. Thank you, Grace. So you have the link already in the group, in the chat room. So we have a lot of videos on that channel that you can learn and grow through. This last edition is also there, and we had a nice time. It was just about an hour, and what we did was to explore this concept. What we did was to go through what is the meaning of wealth, how do we differentiate wealth from riches, from cash flow, and the question we are trying to answer with this particular set of models is to find out whether, one, it's possible to build wealth working a 9 to 5 job. If the answer is yes, how do you really build it? And how do you start? And last edition, we explored the concept of wealth. We tried to dig around debt. We spoke about contentment. We spoke about the difference between if you're an entrepreneur and if you're an employee. How does that affect your journey towards wealth? Please find time to listen to it, because this week we'll be building on that. And at the last edition, we went through the story of Sam and her friend, who, as usual, Vanessa, had conflicts or concerns around how can she also live the life she wants to live without having the pressure that comes with going from paycheck to paycheck. Now, I'm not going to go through that all over again, but the point we landed last week was to say, yes, we believe it is possible for you to build wealth on a 9 to 5. Research bears that up. Experience bears that up. So this week, we are starting our journey in tracing the money-wealth equation. Money-wealth equation. Like we said last week, building wealth, becoming wealthy is a state of being, is a state of mind, is a personality, is a profile. The person that has $1 million is not the same as a millionaire. You need to build capacity for wealth before you can become wealthy. If by any chance you stumble into wealth, like winning a lottery, if you have not built the capacity for wealth, it is very difficult for you to move on from there and make it amount to anything else. And you don't need to look too far to confirm that. Just check how many people have acquired a windfall. They've won a lottery, they've made some unexpected money, and see what they've been able to do through it. The difference between having $1 million and being a millionaire, therefore, is your state of mind. And that is what we are trying to walk through. How do you build a capacity? Now, for those who have not watched last week's episode, let me just quickly mention something critical. Yes, the research suggests that it is 4 times easier and faster to become wealthy traveling through the path of entrepreneurship than it is traveling through the path of employment. But it's also good to know that, like I said, traveling through the path of entrepreneurship can also make it 4 times or 10 times faster for you to go bankrupt and go broke and run into debt and have your life in crisis, because entrepreneurship is not necessarily for everybody. So the distinction is that even when it is entrepreneurship, the speed with which you get to wealth will vary from A to B to C to D, depending on a lot of factors, where you are starting from, the economy you are playing, your startup capacity and all of that. Same if it is employment. But the common denominator to both track is that it is possible. You can build wealth. So today, we want to now go slowly. And what you will find is that the variables for both paths are essentially the same. The difference is the dynamics of how those variables combine. I'm sure I'm speaking too much English. So let's get into the money wealth equation. This is the equation that you need to understand. This is the equation that you need to master. This is the equation that you need to make a friend of, so that whichever track you are on, you are intentional and in control of your journey. So how do you get to the point where you can create wealth, particularly if you're on a 9 to 5? Last week, I broke this entire module down into 4 buckets. The first bucket is how to make money. So the first bucket is making money. How do you make the money? The second bucket is how do you milk the money? How do you squeeze it? The third bucket is, having made and squeezed, how do you then multiply the money? And having succeeded in multiplying the money, how then do you continue to manage it so that you don't go broke or go bust without you realizing what is going on? And it has happened too many times. So it is a science that now has to be perfected so that we can learn from the experience of those who have had that trauma, and we do not fall into the same trouble. And that is what we are trying to walk through today. Okay, so the first leg, which we are now flying into today, has to do with making money. Making money. Before I get into this, is there anything anybody would like to ask or clarify before we get into the meat for today's session? Anybody? Anything? Anybody? Olayinka, you have decided to join us again today. Good to see you. Anybody? Okay, so if there is nothing on anybody's mind, the first bucket expectedly is, how do we make money? And I'm going to talk about making money around 5 broad buckets. The very first bucket is that if you want to really make money, remember we are talking about the money wealth equation. If you really want to make money without sacrificing your life, make money enjoying the process of making money, because making money should be the means to an end, not the end in itself. If you really want to make money, make it big, make it enjoyably, make it sustainably. The very first step is to discover purpose. For those who are close to me, they know that I can't talk about 2-3 things without talking about purpose. The reason is very simple. That is the foundation for everything else. Where purpose is missing, everything else becomes a ramble. When the use of something is not clearly established, abuse, misuse is inevitable. So on the DLI YouTube channel, we have like 4 or 5 different videos that has explored the concept of purpose. Once again, I invite you to please find time to go in and check it out, because we will not be flying too deep on purpose. But this is saying that you need to spend time to discover purpose. The problem is that, human being naturally, unless something is standing right in our way or right in our face, as long as we can get, we continue to get by. The problem is that many people are flying suboptimally. So when we talk about purpose, we are saying, what is your why? Because whether you are an entrepreneur or you are an employee, it's all about one thing: solving problems. As an entrepreneur, you are solving problems, taking the initiative, trying to build the enterprise, running on your own, building the framework, building the architecture, raising the money, building the team, putting the solution together to make it happen. As an employee, you are running the same agenda, but flying under somebody else's flag, but still the same thing. You are employed to solve certain problems. There is a role that you're supposed to fulfill in the organization. There's something you're doing. Now, if you are not able to identify purpose, it becomes a drudgery, it becomes a pain, it becomes a drag. So it matters not whether you are an entrepreneur or an employee. If you have not established purpose and you are not flying on the charter of purpose, you can't go far in this conversation of making money, because all you probably will be doing will just be barely getting by. You will just be putting in the minimum. You will just be seeing how you can stay out of trouble, how you can stay afloat. And when you are running at that level, how can that be optimal? How can that be full? It's very difficult, if not impossible. So you want to go from money to wealth. You want to grow wealth. You want to build a financial base. You want to acquire financial independence. Please create the time to find purpose. In my journey as a coach, in my journey as a mentor, in my journey as an entrepreneur, in my journey as a senior executive in organizations, this is one of the most difficult things for people to do, because it requires them to slow down. For most people, it requires them to dig. For most people, it requires them to find. And when they are not ready to do that, then it becomes a problem. They want to just float through life. Finding purpose is an intentional thing. You have to get right inside yourself. You have to find yourself. You have to know yourself. And for most people, it's a lot of introspection. And many people do not want to even dig and find anything at all. But I challenge you, please. This wealth matter is easier and more achievable when you spend the time to discover purpose. And like I said, I do not have the time to go too deep. Please find time to go to Delight channel, go to YouTube, search for Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative, DEELI. Look for that channel and search out our purpose videos. It will guide you. But by way of a bridge between what we taught then and now, let me just give you the highlight that there are 4 ways typically that you can discover purpose. 4 ways. Number 1, some people just know it. It's by intuition. From when they are young, somehow it's just very clear. Usually it's because of a compelling pull. Sometimes it is because of what runs in the family. But for whatever reason, however they know, they just know. There are those, I have a friend in the UK who is an artist. He just knew from the get-go that drawing is what he wanted to do. And it was clear. So when he was going to go to school, it was art. It was art that he went to study. He has never tried to get employment so far as I can remember. All he does is wake up and draw. And it's so clear in his head that this is why he was here, or this is why he's here. And there's no other reason. And so he's happy. He didn't make money from get-go, but he knew this was his calling, and that is how his focus has been. I have a friend who from the beginning knew he was going to be a dry cleaner. And that has been his journey. Some people just know. There's no drama around it, they know. That's the first road to purpose. That's intuition, or just knowing. The second road to purpose is by assessing and checking out your tag, TAG. Like you have tags on dress, tags on bags, tags on articles. We also all have tags. Tag here standing for talent and gifts. Just look at what are those things that you are gifted for, that you are gifted in. What are those things that you are very good at? Those things that come native, that come natural to you. What are those things? If you dig deeper, it becomes clear to you what your purpose is, because those things are the things that facilitate your purpose. So if you are not able to find it through intuition, check your tag. If you are not able to find it through tag, check your passion. What are you passionate about? What is that thing that catches your interest? What's that thing that you just are drawn to? What's that thing that is calling you? Everywhere you look, it just calls you, is shouting at you, is drawing your attention. If you dig around it, you are likely going to find purpose there. And if intuition doesn't do it for you, if tags do not do it for you, if passion and interest do not do it for you, look around you for opportunities. The opportunities around you are not for fun, they are not wasted. They are indicators of the kind of development you need to go through. The opportunities may not be the bus stop, they may just be things that facilitate and sharpen and build you towards where you're going. But whatsoever your hand finds to do, just get going with it and then see where it leads you. But the summary of this first step is, whatever you do, find purpose. It gives meaning to life. It matters very little how much money you are making or not making. Even if you succeed in making so much money, but you are not living in purpose, it's not sweet, it's not pleasurable. That's why you see very many rich people go into depression. That's why you see many rich people commit suicide. Why? Because purpose is missing. Because money in itself is not the end, it's a means to an end. So I encourage you and I plead with you, if you can find purpose, it makes life easier. It makes wealth building a lot easier. I didn't say easy, I said easier. The road is less rough. There is more passion, energy, drive, fuel, momentum for your journey. And that's the first step. So in making money, try to find purpose. And again, I am struggling not to go too deep in purpose, but you know, purpose is like raw carbon. You know, carbon can translate to charcoal, carbon can translate to diamond. Purpose is like raw carbon. There are different expressions for that purpose. Your job is to find and dimension it and make sure you make the most of all those opportunities that are presenting themselves to you. Because if you can get that to happen, a lot will happen for you without you even having to oversweat it. So the very first thing is for you to discover purpose. That's number one. Now, anybody has any question on that? Anybody has any question on that? Okay, so if you have succeeded in discovering purpose, the next thing, like I've mentioned, is then for you to optimize your tag. And I'm going to get back to my slides in a bit. The next thing for you is to optimize your tag. How do you optimize your tag? Remember that if you are on your journey to finding purpose, one of the ways by which you can find purpose is for you to go through the road of tags. So if you have then gone through the road of tag, and then you have been able to find your purpose, then the next thing that now happens is that you optimize your tag. How do you optimize your tag? Talents and gifts are raw. Nobody comes to this world as a finished product. Nobody. That's why they say that success is 1% talent, but 99% hard work. Success is 1% inspiration. It is 99% perspiration. You have to perspire. You have to work at it. There is nobody that comes, just show me one person, a talented footballer, a successful business person, a successful basketballer, a successful politician who just came out raw from his mother's womb and boom, everything he has right now, he had it at birth. Not one person. So as you are discovering purpose, you are just starting a journey. You then need to so you are in the creative world. How do you want to express your creativity? Is it in music? Is it in science? Is it in technology? Is it in operations? What draws you? How do you become better at it? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a coach? How do you learn? How do you become better? Because if you remember that ultimately it's all about solving problems. So it therefore means that the more equipped you are at solving problems, either as an entrepreneur or as an employee, the better the value you are creating. The higher the value you create, the higher the value you accrue, the higher the value you make. And the higher the value you make, the bigger you are checking this box of making money. And when you make money, it is then easy to milk, it is then easy to multiply, it's then easier to manage. So it's a chain. So having discovered purpose, you need to wake up every day and keep sharpening your sword. Keep working on yourself, build your skills. I love sports. I talk about it every day because it's a very, very good domain for illustration. Show me one successful sport person. I will show you somebody who is doing more than what the average person is doing. I know of footballers, now the season is about to end, and then they go on break. If there is no major competition, is the opportunity to unwind and indulge and enjoy. But look at the successful and exceptional ones. If their club is going to resume for the next season, say July, many of these very successful guys will have set their own calendar to resume like a month before everybody resumes. They will be working on their own, getting into shape, getting back to fitness, losing weight, building capacity, strengthening their muscle. You look at the successful basketballers, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, all of them, Michael Jordan. There is no one of them that you will not find that they are always working on how to optimize their talent and gifts. The same has to be applicable to you. Having found purpose, having identified your opportunities, if you want to make money, You need to wake up every day and learn. Wake up every day and grow. If you cannot look back and see that you are getting better than who you were, listen, there is no stagnation. If you are not getting better, you are getting worse. I say that again. If you are not getting better, you are getting worse. So you have a duty to go back and keep working and building your tag, sharpening your sword, improving your skills, getting better at whatever you do. Excellence must become your signature. Excellence must become your signature. You must sign off whatever you are doing with excellence. That's the only way it's going to happen. If you are not running after excellence, sorry, you are soon going to go extinct. So you can't even think about wealth. You will struggle to make enough money. It doesn't matter how much money you are making today, you are only living on borrowed time. So in making money, the first is to discover purpose. The second is to optimize your talent and gift. And then the third thing is for you to have the right mindset. Making money, building wealth is a state of mind. It does not just happen. And research and patterns have shown that while talking about the mindset of the wealthy will vary from place to place, from person to person, a few things are common. A few things are common. The very first thing about being wealthy is that wealthy people understand that wealth creation is an exchange. That making money is an exchange. I bring value, I get value. If you are not making money right now through that means, you are probably doing something illegal, or you are stealing, or you are on scholarship that may not last you forever. One of the critical mindset of the wealthy is that they are well aware that wealth creation, money making is about creating value. So when you go back to the first step of discovering purpose, add it to the second step of optimizing tag, they go around looking for how to create value. So if you're an employee, what mindset do you take to work every day? Are you carrying the mindset of 30 days is equal to one paycheck? Are you carrying the mindset of as long as I show up at work and just stay out of trouble, every month I get my pay? Or you are out there living out fully, applying yourself to everything in front of you, engaging yourself as fully as you can, running after all the opportunities that you have, volunteering, going the extra mile, acquiring the skill set, the certification, the exposure. What mindset are you carrying? Because if your mindset is barely getting by, doing the minimum, and you are here thinking that one day you want to build wealth, where is it going to come from? I don't want to go into the conversation around the super competent, incompetent, and super incompetent. But because you are still paid a salary does not mean your organization does not know that you are not contributing a lot to the organization. It may just be that the pain of doing that reshuffling and that rationalization as we speak is higher for the company than to pay the salary, so they're just happy to let it run. Wait until push gets to shove. And then you understand that at every point in time, every organization knows the people that are contributing positively to its bottom line. So you have to have the right mindset. Wealthy people understand that money making, wealth creation is about value creation. So they go around making themselves people of value. So wherever they are valuable. When they are not there, they are missed. When they are around, everybody feels their presence, they feel their contribution, they feel the difference. Another mindset that is common to wealthy people is the abundance mentality. They are not hoarders. They don't view the world through scarcity. Oh, it is not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. So it's all greed and avarice and grabbing. No. Wealthy people typically will have abundance mentality. They know that I can succeed, and my success does not have to make you not to succeed. Your success does not have to make me not to succeed. So with that mindset, they are very collaborative. They are willing to share. They are willing to engage. Because if you fold your fist like this, nothing can get inside. If you do this, yes, what you have can drop off, what you have can go off, but you are also in a position for new things to drop into your palm. Like we said about the research, statistics have shown that people who are more concerned about risk, they are very unlikely to get into investments. And if you don't invest yourself, if you don't invest your time, if you don't invest your money, sorry, how do you multiply it? So wealthy people, they carry the mindset of abundance. When they have, they're willing to share, they are happy to engage, they're happy to collaborate, they know that there is enough to go around, so I do not have to see anybody as my competition or as somebody who will stop me from succeeding. It's a very liberating mindset. They don't take any prisoners in their mind, and so their mind can think and seek connection, where a person who has scarcity mentality is worried about, will you ever be enough? This person is making this, how does that affect me? That mindset is very defeating. So you want to build wealth, acquire the abundance mentality. Be aware that there is enough for your dream. There is enough for you to fulfill your purpose. It is not, somebody does not have to lose for you to win. We can all win together, and it's very liberating. Okay, so abundance mentality. Then they have the growth mindset. They don't settle. They do not settle. So where they are today, they are looking to go forward tomorrow. They are trying to get better. They are trying to create new possibilities. They are trying to create new opportunities. They are always hungry, on the lookout. They are not people who are satisfied with the minimum. No. Wealthy people, successful people, people who make money, they are those who have the growth mentality. All right? They also appreciate the value of people. And this is deep. This is deep. There are those who love money and use people. There are those who love things and use people. There are those who love people and use things. If you find anybody who has built a lasting legacy, lasting wealth, they are people who value other people. They value them as human beings. Because when we talk about wealth, if you go back to last episode, one of the differentiators between wealth and money is that wealth is enduring. Wealth has a capacity to multiply itself without the owner being the one exacting or making the effort for the multiplication. Meaning, wealth is money that can work for the owner without the owner having to work for the money. The only way money will work for the owner is because there will be other people who are connected to that money, who are able to make the money work for themselves and then for the owner who has given it to them. There are people who make quick money in the short term. They shaft people. They treat people like disposable items. They don't care about them. Truth is, such wealth do not stand the test of time, if at all they are able to build it. So people who build sustainable wealth, they appreciate the value of people, men before money. They are good networkers. They are good connectors. They value relationships. they invest in those relationships. They know that if I want to go fast, I can go alone. But if I want to go far, I better go with other people. And therefore, they are able to optimize their tag because their tentacles are very wide and they are very, very well integrated and engaged with other people. I've shared a few mindsets. Let me go over it very quickly. Number one is people that build wealth, people that make money, they understand that it's about value exchange. So they go around worrying about value creation. That's the first mindset, value creation. The second mindset is abundance mentality. They are not people who want to compete to death, even competing with themselves. They know that there is enough. They are happy to collaborate. They're happy to connect. Abundance mentality, that is the second mindset. The third mindset is the growth mentality. They are never settled. They are never satisfied. They're always thinking, how do I become better? How do I become better? Every day, every week, periodically, they check what has been added to my arsenal. How am I growing? Number four is that men before money. They believe in people. They understand the value of relationships. They understand the value of networking. So they are intentional about it. The fifth mindset I want to talk about is that they are long-term in their view. They know that wealth building is not a 100 meters dash. Last week, one of the differentiators we came up with between cash, money, being rich and being wealthy, is that wealth is more enduring, is more lasting. That means that it can travel far. So it is not about just doing anything you want to do today, you make 100 million, and then you do not know what to do, you don't know how to proceed. So because they are long-term focused, they are more patient with themselves. Last month, we spoke about contentment. They enjoy the journey. They understand the concept that life is a journey. So they are intentional. They are not all about today, and they don't care about what happens to anybody. Because what's the essence of wealth anyway? If you cannot enjoy it, you cannot laugh. So they have the long-term orientation. They are willing to learn. They are willing to invest and grow. They're willing to take it one layer at a time. They understand that there is nothing big that starts big. That if you find anything big that starts big, it usually doesn't last. If you find anything big that starts big, it usually doesn't last. It's probably just a mirage, or it is something that is abnormal, because the way nature has designed it is nothing big starts big. Everything big usually starts small. And because they have the long-term orientation, they are patient, they are willing to invest in the journey, they trust the process. And over time, it materializes. This last week, Dangote Refinery was commissioned. And I'm still trying to dig up on that. But one of the things that Governor Fashola said when he was commissioning, that when he was making a speech at the commissioning of the refinery, was that Dangote came to Lagos empty-handed as a young man 45 years ago. 45. I want that to sink in. There is no instant success anywhere. 45 years. If it's to tell the story of all that has happened to get him to where he is today, I'm sure you will find out typically that it wasn't a straight line. So it is critical, therefore, to know that wealth building is a marathon, it's a decathlon, it's a journey. Enjoy the journey. While you are looking forward to what you want, enjoy what you have, trust the process, have the long-term orientation, and build it layer by layer. Number 6, I've said 5, value creation, abundance mentality, growth mindset, men before money, long-term orientation. Number 6 is risk tolerance. In making money, don't be deceived, you will lose money. It doesn't just drop on your lap. There's nobody that can be so careful to eat and nothing will drop. It doesn't work that way. You will lose some. So if you are afraid of losing money, sorry, you yet do not have the mindset of the wealthy. We are not talking about recklessness. We are not talking about lack of discretion or proper evaluation. We are just telling you that no matter how hard you try, you will lose money. So get ready. Be ready to take risk, informed risk, well-calculated risk, risk that are within your reasonable margin. But be settled in your mind that no matter how hard you try, making money, building wealth involves risk. You must develop tolerance for risk. And last but not the least is that for you to get better at making money, you must develop your financial literacy. Like we spoke about optimizing your tag, you must develop and improve your financial literacy. You must make sure that you get better. What is the language of business? What do they mean by this? What do they mean by that? New things are coming in every day. You must familiarize yourself with all the different concepts of making money, of the business world, of the money space, so that you are well informed. And as you go along, you will see why this mindset is very important. So a quick recap of what we are talking about is that we are considering the concept of building wealth on the 9 to 5 from four different buckets. The first bucket is making money. And in making money, there are a few things that are required for you to get to that point where you are really making money. And it is so possible in this our time. During the beginning of man, when man was a hunter-gatherer, there was nothing like this. Every day he has to go out to go and hunt. He has to go out to go and gather. That was it. Then he started farming. And then he doesn't have to go out anymore. Where he is, he can create around him. At that time, he was still limited to the amount of land he can cultivate and the amount of farming he or she can do. Then you move to the industrial. It was still very localized. You have to have the money. You have to set it up. Now it has moved to information age, and now we're in the social age. Opportunities abound. If you have the right mindset, you can find purpose, you can optimize your tag, you are making your way ready to make money from different sources. And that is what the foundation of wealth is all about. The money-wealth equation starts with making the money first. So, first step in making money is finding purpose. Second step is optimizing your tag. Third step is building the right mindset. And the fourth step is now solving problems. So the purpose, the tag, the mindset is towards solving problems. So when you hear that it's about value exchange, about value creation, you solve a problem, you make money. You solve problem, you generate money. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you're an employee, that is the equation. If you can increase the kind of problem you are able to solve, you are going to increase the amount of value you are able to create, and then you are going to increase the amount of value you are able to accrue. We speak about unicorn, flutter wave, all the unicorns coming up around us. What have they done? They found a problem, they invested themselves at it, they made the money out of it. That is how it works. And it is not just the promoters of those companies that have made money. Even the employees of those companies are making money. Some of the pioneer startup staff had equity in that company. Some had already cashed out and they're millionaires in dollars. That's why it is all about solving problems. So as an employee, how much problem are you solving? When your employer looks at you, how do they rate you? Are you just a squad member, or you're a part of the first team? When there's a problem to be solved, are you one of the people that they're going to look for? Or you just make up the number? Because this is where the rubber meets the road. You find purpose, congratulations. You're optimizing your tag, congratulations. You are developing the right mindset, congratulations. If you are not letting that result in problem solving, all amounts to zero, waste. So you want to make money, apply yourself to solving problems. It does not have to have your, it doesn't have to be included in your job profile. It doesn't have to have your name on the problem. If you find a problem, apply yourself to it. What happens is, as you are solving the problem, you are growing your capacity. You are getting better. You are growing your skill set. You are becoming more valuable. As you become more valuable, you are attracting higher value. As you are attracting higher value, you are in a position to start the journey of building wealth. So as a 9 to 5, you have to shift your mind. It is not 30 days is equal to one paycheck. It has to be, this is a paid apprenticeship. I am here to learn. I'm here to grow. I'm here to solve problems. Go to work every day with this mindset and see whether your stock price will not increase, whether it is in your company or in the market where you are serving. It's impossible. It's impossible. So making money is the first step. And once you succeeded in doing this, then opportunities will begin to show, because now you are a very valuable team player. That's why I love sports. You watch football. It doesn't matter what club a player is playing for. I have seen a player being signed for record fee from a club that was relegated. For those who don't follow sport, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to help you with this Sports 101. But the club is relegated, and a player from that same club is hired by one of the top 4 clubs for a club fee, a club sign-on fee. Because even though the club struggled, this individual player provided value, created value. The stats were in his favor. And so everybody's running after him. And so he goes to the new club, and then all this value begins to shine. So you find purpose, you optimize your tag, you build the right mindset, you start to solve problems, opportunities are going to start showing up. You now need to make sure you apply yourself to these opportunities and you continue to optimize them. And when you say optimize, it's not all opportunities that you are going to take. There are opportunities you walk away from because you know that this doesn't lead you to where you want to go to. And you focus on opportunities because you know that this one leads me to where I am going to. So you will have opportunities. And in this our social age where you can do many things from these 24 hours that you have, then I hope you get the message that making money becomes an achievable target that you can have. Because how quickly you can build wealth is first a function of how much wealth, how much money you are able to attract, how much money you are able to make. And when you make that, we are then able to now go to the next level to say, having made the money, how do you milk the money? Remember, we are building our journey from money to wealth. From money to wealth. The whole conversation is around how do you build wealth on a 9 to 5. What time is it? about 7 o'clock. Good timing. So I'd like to pause here. Like, you know, this is not just a training, this experience sharing. So the floor is open. Are there contributions from anybody about this? Yes? Anybody? What would you like to contribute? Do you have any contribution for this?
Okay, yes. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
So someone wanted to talk. That lady should please go on first. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't hear the lady, but please let the lady go on. Yes, thank you. I didn't hear any lady. Is there any lady here that wants to talk? Please go ahead. Anybody?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity, and I want to point it out that as much as it is very helpful to those of us who attend, you know, I'm not a regular attendant anyways, but for those of us who attend, it is very, very helpful. At the same time, it is because I feel blessed attending this session tonight, because it is not only going to be helpful to me, but for someone out there. I was having a discussion with someone earlier in the week, and she's also a fashion designer, and she has this apprentice that is an intelligent learner. I don't want to use the word a slow learner that struggles to catch up with things. And she's someone that is not very proactive when it comes to this job. So it takes a lot for her to, be able to make her learn certain things. So she felt heartbroken one day when the apprentice just, kind of confided in her in a very, very sensitive matter. And she said out of the blues, they were just working, and out of the blues, she just said, "Ma, I hear about people talking about having purpose or finding purpose. I don't have one, and I don't know what to do." She said she felt very, very broken, and thanks to God, she's also a woman of God. She started, helping her through the journey or through the process of finding purpose. So me being here this evening, I have gotten a lot of information I'm going to be able to share with her for her to also help this apprentice with. So as much as the blessing to me, I'm also going to be a blessing to another person. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Olayinka. And like I said, we have a YouTube channel, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. They will drop the link again in the chat room. We have, I can't remember, I think over 200 different videos, but we started with purpose. So there are 4, 5 videos that took purpose on the gentle slope. But it's a platform that is designed for, because my personal purpose is to build people and to build brands. I'm here to drive productivity. I'm here to make things work. I am consumed by productivity. So that's my purpose. And that's why I'm doing this. And that's why it doesn't matter how many people are here. I'll just go ahead and do what I have to do and put it out there. And recently I've gotten a lot of feedback. I mean, some of these videos I've done now 3-4 years. Somebody came recently and said, "I stumbled on your video. Wow, this, that." So I encourage you to share. And the reason why I do this is because in my interaction with people, I realize that a lot of people are just floating. Because you don't need to do anything for the day to break or for the day to end. People are just floating. They are just counting time. They are not making time to count. So that's why I also encourage you, please, when we have this program, invite people, let them know it is free. A lot of people are struggling, and let's do our little bit to make the world a better place, whichever way we can. So thank you very much for sharing. So let the person check out some other videos on that. And those ones are shorter. We designed it to make it, I don't think there's any video there that's more than 15 minutes. Sometimes they are 7, they are 8, they are 10, they are 7, they are 8, they are 10. So it's a small dosage. So it is easy to digest and go back to flow. I hope they will find it useful. Thank you very much
Thank
for your
you so much. I'll share with her. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Uncle John.
Good evening, Oga.
Wait,
So
have you guys done your election now? The runoff, has it happened?
tomorrow, we're having it tomorrow.
All right. Go on.
Thank you. So I just wanted to mention quickly, I like the way you said it. 45 years for Dangote, because a good number of us have been talking about it. You hear people talking about monopolist power. That's not true, really, and we all need to learn that it's 45 years of hard work. Among some of our friends who were even discussing that one, I was shocked to learn Dangote has lost a lot of money too.
Oh, yes.
And we should know that, really,
Yes.
because sometimes for the past 2 weeks now, we've all been seeing just the red tape cutting all over the whole place, and just like tmak said, you feel that, oh, very great. That's not true. That's not true. And that's part of the growth mindset, the long-term view. uh, One thing I was very shocked for, because myself and my wife, we used to discuss it about 3 years ago. Dangote Noodles has lost a lot of millions
Yeah.
out of competition, out of the game completely. And for those that knew, Dangote Noodles was around like 5, 7, or 9 years ago, so to say. So those are some of it. So we just need to have that at the back of our mind, that just like Timax said, there is a growth, there is a long term for a lot of people. I was also reading in the news, oh, it's the same group too. So we are talking about Tesla, that's Elon Musk, where he was trying to. So 2 years ago, he had to go to the government and seek for money.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
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 I mean, while we read, we're reading, he has the electric cars that is selling fast, being bought by Europe, had the largest manufacturing of cars ever in Europe presently. It's not all those what you are reading in the papers. So that's the truth. And just like he said too, if you don't have the mind for it, it's not for everybody. When you hear when you hear that he sleeps only 4 hours, I was reading somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that he sleeps only like average of just 10 hours a week, 10 hours in a week, 10 hours in a week. That's not a joke. So we just need to put that at the back of our mind, because sometimes that has happened to me too. It's not something that when we're in school or leaving school, you say, oh, reach, things like that, and you start to feel maybe it's a journey. There's a lot of cry. And if you don't have the strength for it, we'll discuss it in a past meeting. If you don't have the strength for it, it's never going to work. And just like you also mentioned too, we were also mentioning in that group how Dangote knows the power of people, um, a lot of things, working with others, and so many other things. Just a few days, I think Elumelu was calling him the king of boys, and then how he goes to beg for money too in Europe and other places to be able to fund what's going to fail. This project that he's talking about, they started almost over 10 years ago, really.
Yes.
Over 10 years ago.
Yes.
So, and a lot of things, he said it in one Al Jazeera interview, so I don't want to take our time. What I'm just trying to say is, when T-Max said 45 years for Dangote, because that's a good news, we can all we can all take cue from. It's a long time of sweat, long-term view. Even sometimes when you look at it, if you can read through the lines, there is a long-term view, taking a lot of bets. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I mean, it's a lot. Many people don't know that Femi Otedola has been bankrupt before he's been able to pull it up again by the bootstrap, and now found himself where he is today. So it's a journey, and that is why we can learn from their experiences and we can do it better. Thank you very much, Uncle John. Yes, any other contribution on making money or how you can build wealth from working 9 to 5? but we are focusing on making the money.
Hello,
Anybody?
tmak.
Yes.
Ibuko raised his hand.
Yes, IBK, please go on.
Good evening, everyone.
You are very, very faint. Oh. Are you inside the stadium?
I'm on the road.
Oh, okay.
Is it clearer now?
A bit, yes.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Thank you for this session today. I wanted to know that you mentioned in point 7, developing financial literacy and
Yes.
understanding what the language of business is.
Yes.
So I am struggling to understand where are the go-tos to get this understanding, or to develop, or what's like the playbook to develop that financial literacy knowledge and understanding the language of business. I think that those are my.
I hear you. Very brilliant question. Thank you for asking. Yes, anybody here wants to help us? So I said, when I was talking about the mindset, the last mindset I mentioned was building your financial literacy. So Ibuku's question is, how do we do that? Anybody who can help?
Okay, I will start from beginning with the end in mind. So I remember in one of our last 2 meetings, we said that it looks beautiful on Excel. And then when it starts to, pan the real operations or develop the product, or when you finally get to the customer, you see that it's a different ballgame. So it's not just about ledger lines. For those of us that were very careful, though we're in science, we knew something about business study, not like tmak. That's the tmak line. But it's something that everybody needs to take serious. Ledger lines. Ledger. Sorry that I said ledger line. I was going to music again. So when they say balance sheet, when you say balance sheet, though you are a technical person like me, tmak knows all the details. But can you see the summary? For example, if you are reading tmak's reports, tmak has done like 2 hours meeting, and then if they ask you after 2 hours of financial discussion, can you write a 1 page of what he said? 1 page as a technical. So that's one of the key things I started learning about 5 years ago. If somebody like your finance director finish a 1 hour presentation, can you write just 1 page report of it? That at least you have a good level of the profit now or the loss, the profit into the future, what's expenditure, money that came in, cash that came in, cash that never came in, the percentage that was used for production, the percentage that was never used. So those are some of the parameters that we all need to know. And not just for our day-to-day, not just for our work, but our personal finances too. Because if you cannot track that finances too, you cannot, build wealth. That's the truth. So.
Absolutely. Well said. Yes, more. Anybody else? How do we build financial literacy? Anybody want help? Okay. So there is nothing you want to learn right now in this generation that you cannot learn. So how do you build financial literacy? Very simple. It depends on where you are coming from in terms of your knowledge base. But all you need to do is just go online, go to YouTube, go to all this learning management system, Udemy and all the rest. And these are things that you don't need to pay cover for. Just start to, by way of speaking, they call it get your feet wet. Just get your feet wet. Go to YouTube, go to those platforms. You can start by typing things like finance for non-finance people, accounting for non-accountants. Just build the basics. What is cash? Like John is saying, what is revenue? What is income? Just get your feet wet. Just read. Okay? Secondly, there are many different free seminars here, seminars there. The difference between just watching and attending a seminar is seminar affords you to kind of interact and engage. You can ask questions, you can seek clarifications. It may not be so easy with those pre-recorded. So find opportunities to sit in those conversations and just listen. But as you will see, as we are going along, making money is what we are talking about. When it comes to milking money, what you will find is that you will not be going blind. So you want to do something in a particular space, find those that know. So one of the areas we are going to talk about in this conversation is around cryptocurrencies and what have you. I don't understand it. I have tried. If I'm going to put one cover in that space, I'm going to find somebody who understands it, sit down and interrogate the person. If you are not well grounded in a particular space, go find those who know. So that's the summary of my answer to your question, sir. Go and find those who know and ask them. And if you are not satisfied with talking to A, go to B. You are not satisfied with B, go to C. Go on until you get sufficiently exposed. The last thing I want to say, which I found very useful, is there are channels that are dedicated to business. One of my favorites is Bloomberg. There's SABC in South Africa. We're also trying to start a business TV Africa. But the point is, if you watch, and even on channels, on TVs like channels, on stations like Channels TV, Arise, they have business segments. Just listening. Just that's how you build your financial. Just let them talk. Oh, there's war in Ukraine. Oil price is this. It's higher now because of this. By the time you listen to it for 6 months, 1 year, it begins to make sense, because the truth is, it is not rocket science and it's not complicated. It's just a different lingo and a different way of thinking about things. But by the time you see a cycle complete, another cycle complete, another cycle complete, you get stronger, you get better, you get more familiar. And then some things will no longer be sounding strange. Interest rate and the trade or the volume of trade. And if you now, the advantage now is, if you listen to any of those programs and a concept jumps at you that you do not understand, it then becomes something you go back to Mr. Google, or you go back to ChatGPT and say, what do they mean by this? And then it breaks it down. So it will be a mutually reinforcing knowledge. You read something you don't understand, you go and find more meaning. You hear something, you hear it somewhere else. By the time you continue to be intentional about building your knowledge in that space, it's a matter of time. You will get better with it. Have I helped you, sir?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for the answers.
Thank you. So any other question, any other comments, any other contribution? Any other question, any other comment, any other contribution?
I have a contribution about solving problems.
Please go ahead, sir.
So in my current place, usually, if there's a problem, everybody is always afraid of sending mails. Once you see a mail addressed to you, it seems like an escalation, often than not. But if nobody addresses that email, and maybe you are copied in the email, and you jump on it and you start listing what can be done, what you are going to do, rather than assign it to other people, and you assign it to yourself, and eventually you get a solution to that problem. You might not get a commendation that place, but one thing I've noticed is that people tend to come and meet you either at the back later on to tell you everything that is around their own process, or what they want to do, or what their organ has given them. And it kind of breeds trust, because they know that once they tell you this, you will deliver for them. And even if you are not in their department, you get this positive feedback, particularly even from top management. So even if you think they don't know what is happening, you'll be shocked that once you have an engagement with even people who are at the top, they probably would have heard your name because you've solved something that is unrelated to where you are. And that's just my own take on solving problems when it's not
very, very true. And you see, what happened is those things are building your stock. I keep telling people that before promotion is done, before a new appointment is done, some people somewhere, they have sat down, they have talked, they have mentioned people's names. The performance evaluation that counts really, it's not just the one that is done when you are doing half year or end of year. It's those operational things when people find you resourceful, when they find you willing, they find you hardworking, they find you committed, they find you reliable. These things grow your stock. I have seen, and I'm not telling you not once, not twice in my many years of experience, that there have been times when a new role is going to be created and they take somebody's CV and they use that person's CV to write the role because they want that person to get the role, because in their head, this is the person they want and they don't want any drama around it. So when you solve problems, you create value. When you create value, you can accrue value. The more value you accrue to yourself, the more you can do for and with yourself. That's the message. Thank you very much, IBK. Anything else from anybody? Any other contribution? Any other contribution? So, looks like it's a good point to anchor our session for today. Before we administer the poll, I would just like to show you what we are doing next, which is that we are tracing this money wealth equation. And today we have been able to focus on making money. The next episode, we will focus on milking money. I'm not sure if we'll be able to finish that in one dosage, but we'll see. And then we move to multiplying, and then we move to managing. And the expectation is that if you can follow these 4 steps, by the time we get to managing money, you are moving now from money, you are now getting to the wealth zone. And then it's now more around perpetuating it, extending it, and then setting it on auto run such that it is not you working for the money, but your money working for you. So I'm inviting you to make it a date with us next month. Usually this is the last Saturday of every month. Tell somebody, share it, let them know it's free, and it's not more than 1.5 hours. That's max. And then we have a Telegram group chat. Like I said earlier, the whole essence of this particular product from DLI is to just make coaching and facilitation available to you on the go. Even when you have a coaching or mentoring arrangement, it's not all the time you can set up a proper meeting to debrief stuff. So the whole essence of this is, on that Telegram group, there's a question, something you are dealing with, you can just go in and drop it, and then everybody will come and chime in on it. And if you do not want to drop it, if you don't want the question traceable to you, just go to the members list and find one of the admins and drop it there, and then we bring it into the group anonymously, and then we crowdsource ideas, crowdsource experience, crowdsource opinion, so that you can take better decisions at work on the go. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you're an employee, you can optimize your target, you can optimize your opportunity, because you are not going with just your own narrow view or knowledge. You are leveraging the knowledge of others for optimal performance. So I encourage you to join that group, and I encourage you to raise questions there. Let everybody see what it is that you need help with, and then we can all grow together. So if there is nothing else from anybody, Please just hold on for 1 more minute for the poll to be administered, and just take, it's a 2-3 question poll. It takes less than a minute to complete. Just let us know how useful or relevant this has been for you, so that we can learn and take your feedback to make it better. Please remember to scroll down to answer the 3rd question. I think it's 3 questions here. So just help with the responses, and then we look forward to seeing you next month. God's Prayer in Our Lives. It will be the last Saturday of the month, barring any unusual anything, and then we will continue our conversation. The video, the recording for this episode, like the last one, will also be uploaded to the DLI YouTube channel, so you can go there and watch again. I actually enjoy going back to listen as well, because I'm also learning. The one for last episode, I think I listened to like 2 or 3 times, because and I'm not just for the sake of it saying it. I also need to hear it. I mean, things around trusting the process, because we're all in this together. So even though we've got experience in sharing this, but we're all dealing with this together. So I encourage you, go back, listen, get the link. The link will be sent to you if you register. Share it with other people who are not here. Somebody may need it, somebody may benefit from it, and that would have made it worth our while. So thank you, John. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Okwe. Thanks for the team that are working behind the scene. I'll leave you with the poll, and I'll say Happy Children's Day again. All of us are children, and hoping to see you next month by God's grace. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your long weekend, and God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.